Welcome to this webinar about grant solutions. I am an investment officer in Innovation Fund Denmark, working on the Grant Solutions program. My name is Maya, and I will take you through some of the fundamentals of the program today. We will start with the purpose of Grant Solutions, which is for major projects and for project consortia. A program for investments in projects that will foster concrete solutions to societal challenges, for projects that have a high risk profile, for projects that focus on ambitious results and have a high impact, and for projects that create value for Denmark. And we believe those projects can work on solutions of different formats. This could be new knowledge, it could be improved processes, systems, or products. It is basically up to you as the project consortium to define what your solution is, as long as it solves something of a challenge to the society. Some of the requirements for grant solutions. The target group is for anyone, so anyone can apply as a legal entity. This could be a company, a research institution, or a public institution. The requirement is that you are at least 2 participants. This means that these are partnership projects. And we see both projects with more than 10 partners, but also with only 2 or 3 partners. So there's no requirement to the size of the project consortium, as long as you are at least 2 partners. What you will get is that the Innovation Fund Denmark will make a major investment in your project. We can fund from 5 to 40 million Danish kroner. We in Innovation Fund Denmark cover up to 75% of the total project budget. Projects can last for 1 to 5 years, and they should create financial or societal value for Denmark, which has to be specified in the application. It works the way that we have one call for grant solutions per year, but divided in several themes, so you can apply within the theme that fits your project the best. And I will come back to that in a minute. We have a 2-phase application process, which means that in phase 1, you will submit a letter of interest, a short application describing the overall idea that you are proposing. In phase 2, it is only for those invited to submit a full application, and this is where you can go into greater detail with what your project is about. This means that the project or the period for the application process lasts almost for the entire year. It can take 10 months from you submit your letter of interest to you know whether you will receive a grant or not. Letters of interest in phase 1 and full applications in phase 2 will be assessed by our expert panel, which I will also describe a little bit later. So the themes that you can apply within the Grant Solutions program. These are politically prioritized themes, and they can vary a little bit from year to year, but the overall focus of the themes are listed here. We always have calls within life science, health, and welfare technology, within green research, technology development, and innovation, within new technologies and artificial intelligence, and within quantum technologies. But there can also be other calls every year with the more defined themes. And the focus can also vary a little bit from year to year on what the theme specifically should cover. And there might be some requirements specific to each call theme. So I advise you to always check out the call text that is available from our website from the current open opportunities to apply. A little bit about the application process. In phase 1, as mentioned, you will submit a letter of interest before the deadline, of course, and then the Innovation Fund Denmark's secretariat will perform an eligibility check and allocate the letter of interest for evaluation by our members of our expert committee. If, on the other hand, your letter of interest does not fulfill the formal requirements, it will receive an administrative rejection, but you will know that very fast. But if not, if it is fulfilling all the formal requirements, the expert committee will take a few weeks to assess the letter of interest and jointly meet to discuss all incoming proposals. When they have reached a decision, they will either invite you as an applicant to apply with a full application in phase 2, or you will be rejected if the letter of interest could not substantially fulfill all the criteria. We only invite letters of interest applicants to phase 2 to what corresponds to 2 to 2.5 times of the available funding amount for each call. If you are invited to phase 2, there's a number of adjustments that you are allowed to do in your full application. You are not able to shift which call you are applying within. So if you applied within the life science, health and innovation call, you cannot suddenly shift to the green research and technology development and innovation call. Your official title must be the same, but you are allowed to make minor clarifications. You cannot change the acronym of the project, and the project period can only increase or decrease with 20%, but it still, of course, has to be within the range of 1 to 5 years. Regarding the budget, the total project budget can be increased or decreased by up to 20%. The requested Innovation Fund Denmark investment can be increased or decreased up to 20%. So for the budget, the expected total budget of the project can be increased or decreased up to 20%. The requested total investment from Innovation Fund Denmark can be increased or decreased by up to 20%. The total investment amount for all the call participants can be increased or decreased by up to 20%, but there are no limitations of changes between the different partners you have involved in your project. So leading into the last point, that the investment amount for other participants that you have added to your project can be freely adjusted. Regarding the project description part, your foundation and concept of idea must be preserved from your letter of interest. You can adjust quantifiable goals you have listed, but they cannot change more than 25%. The state of the art and the competition part must be updated and to reflect the current situation. You're also able to adjust the description of the expected impact of your solution, but if you have made substantial changes to the description, you must justify them. The description of the research methods that you will employ in your project can be further explained, and if you have other methods you want to apply in the project, you can add them as well. If you change project method, you should justify this as well. For the partners and key persons, the co-participants you have listed in your letter of interest must be preserved, but it's possible to indicate P numbers for institutions with the same CVR number, for example, universities with different departments participating. You can have additional participants, but please explain why you have added them. And new participants must be described as well. And the key persons from each partner must be preserved, but unforeseen changes are of course allowed if you have found a replacement with equal competences for the original person. If you are lucky to be admitted for the phase 2, where you can submit a full application, you will have at least 12 weeks to write this application. And again, the Innovation Fund Denmark Secretariat will perform an eligibility check and administrative screening to check that you will fulfill the formal requirements for the application. If not, you will receive an administrative rejection very fast after the deadline. If you do fulfill all the formal requirements, we will start allocating incoming proposals to the committee members of our expert committees, and potentially also start involving external established researchers if your project concerns a topic that we do not think is covered to the necessary extent in our existing committee expertise. Then again, the committee will need a few weeks to do the assessment of all the incoming applications, and then they will in a meeting come to a joint decision of which applications should receive an invitation for investment by Innovation Fund Denmark and which ones should be rejected. The evaluation criteria for your application. In phase 1, we make the committee makes the decision based on 3 overall evaluation criteria. This is the quality of the idea, the impact, and the quality of execution. Regarding the quality of idea, your letter of interest must describe an idea where the aim is ambitious and based on a well-described and original idea. You must have identified a set of specific and relevant challenges and goals, and the planned research or and/or innovation in your project must be well positioned in relation to state of the art and the competitive situation. Regarding impact, your project must describe an idea where the expected impact for the project's participants and for the Danish society is plausible and substantiated. Your project should contribute to solving a substantial societal challenge, and the expected impact of the project's solution must be described in quantitative measures. Quality of execution for your project. The main partnership behind the project must appear credible and diverse in terms of executing the idea and work at a state-of-the-art level to create the expected impact you have described. The budget overview you will propose in your letter of interest must be realistic and cost-effective, and the expected research methods that you will apply in the project should be relevant to achieve the project goals. When looking into a full application in phase 2, the decision criteria are similar to phase 1, but will be a bit more detailed. Regarding quality of an idea, the aim must still be ambitious, and you must describe an unmet need and/or societal challenge of substantial magnitude, both at national and international level. And again, your idea, your planned research and/or innovation must be well positioned in relation to state of the art and the competitive situation, and your described methods must be suitable and relevant. For the description of the impact for your idea, you must present a plausible and substantiated impact and in quantitative description of the impact, which can be societal and/or economic for Denmark. The project should also be strategically relevant for Denmark and for the project participants, and should create value for you both in the short and long term. It must be a competitive solution, both in an academic and industrial setting. You must have identified and described some of the potential obstacles, but also opportunities there could be in relation to intellectual property rights. And you must have thought of and plan for implementing the results and the solution of your project. It could either be within the project's lifetime or afterwards. For the quality of execution described in your full application, we expect that you present us a governance and management model, and you have described qualifications for the key persons that are to perform the project tasks. You must have a work plan with work packages and have performed a risk assessment with a corresponding risk management plan. And finally, your budget must, of course, be realistic and efficient and proportional to the scope of the activities in the project. A bit about the assessment and decision, which, as mentioned previously, is performed by our expert committees. We have set up 4 committees with different profiles. There are 10 to 18 members in each committee, and they cover different domains within the 4 themes that I presented earlier. At least half of the members of the committees are established researchers from international communities, and the other half of or the rest of the committee are impact specialists, which have considerable experience with commercializing or implementing research results into the Danish society. So this way we can cover all aspects of a grant solutions proposals. Finally, if you have any other questions regarding grant solutions, you can always call our general phone on weekdays from 9 to 12, except from Friday it's from 9:30. If you have specific questions to some of the calls within Grant Solutions, you can find the call text on our website, and there will be contact information in the call text. Thank you for listening.